Jim Graham and Dave Sadler here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks. And continuing on here in this round, we have a very special guest joining us. He is the bantamweight champion of the MFC. He is Mr. Anthony Birchak. And Anthony, you became the champion for MFC back in October. How has your life changed since becoming the champion those months ago?
You know, everyone says that it's easy to become the champion and it's harder to keep the championship. I believe that's true. So I've, been trying to, work harder, and it just seems like I can't work hard enough, so I just keep pushing every day, and then actually leaving, later this afternoon to, San Francisco to, work at Chris Carriaso's other gym, there in San Francisco called Fight and Fitness. We get to work with, Gilbert Melendez, Jake Shields, Darren Wenoyama. So, we got just a talent-rich training camp coming up here soon. I'll be there for the next week, and then, and then come back refreshed and keep that positive energy going for MFC 40.
With your last fight being in October, are you itching to get back into the rings?
Oh, absolutely, man. I was itching last MFC, and that was something that I definitely wanted to fight on that card, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. And, I've had a little bit of a hiatus, but, it's been nice. I've been able to enjoy my family, like a week before MFC 38. I had my son with Mercedes, and it's been, kind of nice just to enjoy some daddyhood for a little bit. And, now that I've had this time off, I'm ready to go. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to step back in the ring.
Well, you kind of answered my next question, but, we've only been into 2014 for 4 months, starting the 4th month now. How's the new year treated you so far?
Oh, it's been great, man. The training's been on a whole nother level, it seems like I think that's what I was trying to explain, is that, my life's changing the way that the training has just stepped up to an all new intensity, and, it's been so good. It's been safe training, but it's just been solid training. So, 2014's been good, other than, I'm healthy. I got no injuries. I've been, fortunate to be able to, spend time with my family and stuff, and get some of the stuff that I didn't get to do at the end of last year. 2013 was probably the biggest year of my career yet, but I have a feeling that 2014 is going to be definitely a capstone.
In your last fight, which was, for those who don't know, at MFC 38, did you expect to finish your opponent?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that I was definitely going for. Was I knew that Tito Jones' submission game wasn't stellar. I knew that he was a really good boxer, a really good striker. I knew he had really, really good movement. And I was actually surprised at the fact that he was coming forward, because in 90% of his fights, he's, lateral movement, side to side, going backwards, and a really, really, really strong counterpuncher. So one of the things we want to do was push the pace, get the takedown, get him to the ground, and look for the choke. And, as soon as I got on top, I started landing some big elbows, and I just saw, him kind of, with every elbow, his will kind of started breaking.
At MFC 38, you won. You got your belt. You became the champion. But then you went on and you got yourself a championship ring, which you went out and got commissioned. And now the MFC is actually going to adopt that, and all of their champions are going to get rings. Did you see that happening? And, give us a little backstory. Like, why'd you decide to go get a ring made?
Well, I'm sure you guys saw the whole drama between Elvis Mutapchik and Mark, and once he left, he took the belt, and all champions are required to sign, a couple of pieces of paper that say, if you ever leave the organization, if you ever, vacate the title, if you ever lose, you're supposed to give the belt back. And all the other organizations that I've ever heard of, you keep your championship belt. That's something that you've earned. I didn't want to be, one of those dramatic guys and be like, well, I'm the inaugural bantamweight world champion. I deserve to keep this belt and blah, 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 and so on and so on. I could be some egotistical maniac and explain why I deserve to keep the belt. But Mark has his reasons, and I have no problem giving the belt back. It all spawned off of that whole scenario where, I didn't want that negative press of, Mark sending lawyers after me for the belt or bounty hunters like, he said he did for Elvis. But, my little brother, he actually is the middle linebacker for Eastern Washington University. And, they're always winning their Big Sky Conference. So he came home with 2, championship Big Sky Conference rings, for Thanksgiving. And that's actually when I got the idea of, I'm going to give this belt back, but I'm going to have the coolest championship ring, and I know the IFL did it back in the day, but it was so gaudy and like, it looked like a toy, accessory. And so the thing that I actually did was I have a custom diamond and jewelry sponsor out of Dubai named My Urban Swagga. And, I told them, hey, look, this is the thing, I gotta give the belt back. Is there any way we can have, a championship ring made? And, the guy didn't say yes, no, maybe. He just sent back a picture of, the New York Giants Super Bowl ring. And I said, absolutely. So he started on it, immediately. And, we ended up hitting, MMA Junkie, MMA Insider, and then, obviously Inside MMA on Access TV. And we blew the story up. To answer the question, did I think, MFC was going to do it for all their champions? No, I just kind of wanted to do this for, myself, since I couldn't keep the belt. But, Mark thought it was such a brilliant idea that he's going to do that for all his champions now. And I'm proud to say that I was the reason, not in any negative way, but I was pretty much the reason this whole thing got started now and is going to be, one of the trends for the MFC.
So let me get this straight. If you are victorious again at MFC 40, you'll get a second ring, one that you paid for, and then one that the MFC paid for. That can't be that bad, can it?
No, well, I mean, the thing is like, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that they were going to have one done, and I assumed. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't assume that Mark was going to be like, well, okay, you defended your title successfully. Here's a ring, here's a ring that now we had done. And I didn't expect that, but now that that's how it's going to go down, I'm pretty excited about it.
I was going to make a terrible joke, but I'm just going to move on. Let's talk about talk about moving forward to MFC 40. The fight's not till early in May, so we're still about a month out. But like, where's your weight at this far out? Are you comfortable where you're at?
Oh, I'm absolutely comfortable. I was actually a little too light earlier, in the month, so I've packed on a couple of good pounds. I like being anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds over until I start my fight diet and stuff. And like I said, I'm going out to San Francisco this afternoon. I'll be there for the next week and a half. And once I'm out there, I'll probably start tuning my diet in for fight camp. And about a month out is when I start eating clean, and leaning everything out and really supplementing everything. But I've been a lifelong wrestler, so I know how to cut weight. I know how to do it properly. And now that I have, a great nutritionist, he's actually one of my teammates. His name is Laser Lenny. He's designed this whole diet, for us. He's even got now, George Roop from the UFC. He's got Chris Carriasso from the UFC. He's got, Ed West, who was former Bellator. He designed this whole thing for, us. And, slowly but surely, all these other fighters started jumping on, and they were like, dude, we see how much energy you guys have. We see how lean you guys are. It's all lean muscle. So, it's actually, now that I got my weight cut down to in actual science, it's been one of the easiest weight cuts.
Jim Graham and Dave Sadler talking with MFC champion Anthony Birchak here on Beyond the Cage. And Anthony, I see that you're on Twitter at @Birchak MMA. Do you enjoy using social media like Twitter to connect with fans?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've met people, through social media that I wouldn't have otherwise, and I think I have more fans on Twitter in other cities than I have fans in my own city. And that's, kind of sad, but it's true. I have so many supporters in Edmonton. Edmonton has been awesome with cheering for me and supporting me. And I think one time I said I wanted to be the adopted Mexican son of Edmonton, and it's been just that. I mean, I have, you know, fans coming out in droves and you know, supporting me, and I absolutely think that it's you know, due to social media.
Now, once again, the MFC is doing the Punch the Vote campaign where fans have a chance to vote on the main event for MFC 40. Do you think your fight against Kevin Kroom has a good shot of taking that final spot for the event?
Oh, absolutely. You know, me and Kevin are two guys that like to come, you know, straight forward and swing leather. And I think any fight that's like that, you know, should be main event status. And I think me and Kevin are going to put on a fight of the year performance. You know, we're both, you know, pretty aggressive styles, and I think that kind of fight shouldn't be anything less than main event.
Now, looking at the two other title fights that will be featured on MFC 40 besides yours, Tom Galicchio is going up against Kurt Southern for the second time, and Galicchio, even though he missed weight, he was able to beat Kurt Southern. What do you see happening in their rematch?
You know, anytime Southern's had a rematch, he's won, you know, and I think that last fight left a bad taste in his mouth, not only the fact that the kid didn't make weight, but the fact that, you know, he had an insult to injury and then beat him on top of that. You know, I think Kurt's going to polish up his game, and I think he's going to come back and win.
Now, looking at the other title fight, Sam Alvey will take on Wes Swafford, and we talked to your boss, Mark Pavlich, and he seemed all fired up about these two. He expects a lot of blood to be on the MFC canvas after these two meet in the ring. Is that what you expect from these two on MFC 40?
No, unfortunately, I don't see it going that way. I think Sam Alvey's going to walk right through Wes Swafford.
Your fight at MFC 40 will be the third time you have fought for the Maximum Fighting Championship, and with that experience, have you become more comfortable fighting in a ring?
Oh yeah, by far. You know, we have rings here, you know, at some of the boxing gyms in Tucson, but the ropes are nowhere near what the ropes are for the MFC ring. So it was kind of a little, you know, it was just weird to see. The ropes are like bars. They're like super hard. They're tightened down real nice. And, I mean, my little 135 pound, you know, body doesn't really move them, but once you get like Anthony Hamilton or, you know, a guy like Sam Alvey, big body guys, they start, you know, they look like they're just some of the loose ropes here on a regular boxing ring. But it was kind of weird to, you know, feel it for the first time. But, I think I have a couple more advantages in the ring. I think my style and my takedown game is actually accented and complemented by the ring big time.
Now, even though Kevin Kroom is coming on a pretty big winning streak, he has a pretty impressive career overall record, do you kind of feel a chip on your shoulder, the fact that he hasn't fought for the MFC before and he's getting a shot at your world championship?
I mean, that's anybody that's been coming into the MFC. You know, I think I wish there was a couple more guys fighting on the cards before, you know, just to kind of see who walks up the ranks. I think I've had the hardest road by far. You know, as the first bantamweight champion, I've had to consistently prove myself. You know what I mean? Stepping in, I was the first bantamweight fight ever to be in the organization, and me and Ryan Benoit, you know, who moved on to the UFC now, is you know, we put on a fight of the year candidacy. We were the only non-UFC fighters that were nominated for fight of the year. We were on there with, you know, Gilbert Melendez, Diego Sanchez, Luke Rockhold, Vitor Belfort, Mark Hunt, and Bigfoot. There was a couple other, you know, there was like one or two, and we were like number 2 for the longest time, and then we kept getting, you know, dropped down a peg till we fell off of the top 5. But, you know, coming in, same thing with Tito Jones. You know, Tito didn't fight anybody to come in, but I understand why Mark has to do that, because the division is so new and fresh. You know, he's not signing 20 guys like some of these other organizations and then not fighting them. You know how many guys from Arizona I know that are signed to WSOF that are complaining about the fact, like, dude, you guys signed me and I'm not getting fights. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to put food on the table and, you know, do this full time when you guys just pick me up and are keep me on the back burner, you know? So I understand why Mark's doing that. I think he did a brilliant way of just, you know, signing 2 guys, letting one, you know, whoever it may be, climb the ladder. and then, bringing guys in to do that. I'm not, Kevin Croom's got a great fight streak right now. He's been earning some great wins. He hasn't been fighting the competition that I have, I don't think. And that's just been, truth. He says I'm going to play mind games and I'm going to talk a lot. I'm going to talk a lot because facts are facts. You know what I mean? Like, you just fought Brian Goldby, February 28th. I got to see everything that he's going to do. It's not like he finished Goldsby in a stunning fashion. It was a long, grueling 3-round fight. And, I think it's going to be, I think this fight's going to be his toughest test yet.
And looking at Kevin Croom, he has the majority of his wins by submission. And is the grappling department an area you think he'll really try to go out and exploit against you?
No, I don't think he'll exploit the grappling part. We're both pretty good jiu-jitsu wrestlers. We were good wrestlers, growing up, and I think now that we've added jiu-jitsu, it's been, I think we're pretty synonymous in the style as far as, ground guys go. But I think, sometimes when you see two wrestlers get in the ring or the cage, you're going to see a good little stand-up war, and I think, this is going to showcase everything from, striking to wrestling to grappling. I think it's going to be a good showcase of what we actually both possess.
Hey, Anthony, one thing before we get you out of here. Your boss, Mark Pavlich, we just had a chance to interview him. He said MFC 40 will be the most violent MMA card ever. Your thoughts on that comment?
Well, MFC 38 was pretty intense, man. That was the first time in history that he put 3 world titles on the line at the same time. You had a violent KO of Smalino Rama. You had, Jason South getting TKO'd in the fifth round, and then I finished Tito in the second round. And there was some 7-second knockout by Aaron Gallant. There was it was a pretty explosive card. I think MFC 40 has the potential to top that for sure, yeah.
Once again, he is the MFC Bantamweight Champion, Anthony Birchak. You can follow him on Twitter at @BirchakMMA. And once again, Anthony, thanks for coming on the show, and we look forward to your match against Kevin Croom on May 9th.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for having me on this morning. You guys have a great day.
Once again, that was MFC Bantamweight Champion Anthony Birchak right here on Beyond